Segduj News, with more attack satellites than any other news network.
Tonight's top stories. The Moabite king was brutally struck dead, leaving a nation reeling in shock.
The commander of the Moabite army slain in cold blood while sleeping.
300 foxes unleashed fiery hell on wheat farmers. Good evening and welcome to Segduj News. I'm Neb Semaj.
And I'm Ava Lorenov. The Moabite nation is reeling in shock today once they discovered their king was stabbed in his throne room and left for dead. Judge Ehud, believed responsible, has so far evaded capture. For more on this, we cross to Nodlab Nathak.
The king lost his bling when a knife took his life. Tragic news has shaken the Moabite nation today as their king Eglon was murdered by a left-handed assassin. MI6, or Moabite Intelligence Unit 6, have released CCTV footage from the throne room that is located in the palace behind me. The king was viciously stabbed by a man police believe to be the Judge Ehud. After this man, believed to be Ehud, had asked everybody to leave the throne room, he walks boldly up to the throne and thrusts his sword into Eglon's mid-region. What has police baffled is that it appears to be no sword in Ehud's hand upon leaving the room. Israelite officials deny knowledge of the incidents and claim Ehud was working on his own cognizances. MI6 are still looking for the murder weapon. There is a speculation that the weapon may still be hidden inside King Eglon and will be confirmed with the coroner's report that is released next Friday. Police are appealing for any information that will lead to the capture of Judge Ehud. Please text Ehud followed by the information to 007.
For more on this palace security, we have with us a retired Secret Service agent, which for security reasons we'll call Bruce. Ehud obviously got past security that was in the palace. Apparently you helped design the security. Tell us, Bruce, what exactly was the security around King Eglon this morning?
On the city wall there would have been at least 3 sleeping archers. The palace itself would have had tired, underfed swordsmen at the gates. The throne room entrance is monitored full time from late lunch till dusk. The throne room itself has security cameras operating with regular security sweeps by captured Jewish soldiers with their eyes gouged out.
Virtually impossible to get in. Is that what you're saying?
Essentially, yes. The system was designed to protect the king against the most zealous evildoer. This Ehud character has obviously been military trained and spent hours preparing his plans. Al-Qaeda has not claimed responsibility. The only other group with the backing to pull off such a brazen attack would have to be the Jewish rebels.
You think Ehud must be the man we are looking for?
Almost certainly. He has the training, the backing, the knowledge of our system, and it seems he has the motivation.
Thanks, Bruce. In tonight's viewer poll we ask, should Samson have been the judge to kill King Eglon? Text yes or no to 8310. Text costs 20 cents. We'll bring you the results later in the program.
A bizarre killing in Outer Giddesh earlier today has police baffled. With more on the story, here is Ava Lorenov. But first, we must advise the viewers that the following story contains images that may offend. Police were called to a tent off the state highway near the Great Tree in Zenonim today, just before 2 p.m. after neighbours heard a dull thud. Police used battering scissors to force entry to the tent owned by Heber the Kenite and his wife Jael. On entry they discovered Sisera, commander of the Canaanite army, lying dead with a tent peg driven through his temple. The tent peg was driven in so hard it will need to be dug out of the ground.
I was watering the camels at the time, but then they just suddenly ran away. And then I heard this kind of thud, thud, thud. And then a short little groan. And then just silence, you know.
Heber and Jael, just the nicest family in the street. I heard a rumour that Jael was having an affair with that Canaanite army man.
Commander Sisera was last seen alive fleeing the battle against the Israelites at the Kishon River, where he was defeated and lost over 900 iron chariots to the Israelites. The question on everyone's lips, Avalo: how did he end up here? Why this tent? The Zananim Highway, which runs directly past the Great Tree of Zananim, would have been a natural choice for an escape from the Kishon River. The commander, after suffering incalculable losses in the battle against the Jewish rebels, would have been stressed, tired, and fearing for his life. The tent of Heber and Jaels would have been chosen for its promise of concealment in the face of pursuing soldiers. Tell us, Avalo, is this usual post-battle suicide that we see so often from commanders who fail a king, or are there suspicious circumstances surrounding this incident? The coroner is currently looking into exact cause of death, but at this stage the police are treating the case as suspicious. Investigators have dusted the tent peg for fingerprints. Initial results show no sign of any prints other than Jaels, the tent owner. She is continuing to help police with their inquiries. They aren't looking for anyone else. It's looking like jail for jail. Avalo Renif, Segduj News. Thank you, Avalo.
As we speak, Judge Deborah is encamped at Mount Tabor with 10,000 men. At least there were 10,000 before the resounding defeat over the enemy. The 900 iron chariots were no match for the men of Israel, fueled by over 20 years of oppression by Commander Sisera. We have Judge Deborah on the line now. Deborah, what is the atmosphere like where you are now?
Hello, Neb. The men that have come back to camp are just buzzing now. It's looking like a solid victory for us, thanks to God.
With such a resounding victory, do you think, in these difficult financial times, it was necessary to take 10,000 men with you?
Intelligence sources told us that we would be facing at least 900 iron chariots. Anything less than 10,000, in my mind, would have been foolish.
Gideon just recently routed 120,000 with only 300 men. He claims God was with him and God brought him the victory.
Obviously God was with him, and that's great. God was with us, and we again have been victorious.
But what I'm asking, Deborah, is did God need 10,000 men to crush the enemy? Was God not with you as much as Gideon?
God was with me. God put me in charge of Israel. I had intelligence that indicated a very strong enemy. Israel cannot afford a defeat at this time. I planned for, and with God, ensured success.
The fact that you're coming up for re-election after the harvest, have any bearing on your leading this attack?
I went because Barak, son of Abinoam, our best commander, deemed it prudent that I be present. Now, with this victory, our planned military budget cuts will be attainable without the risk of attack to our great nation.
Congratulations on your resounding victory, Deborah, and thank you for your time.
Judge Sampson handed down his sentence today on the Philistine nation. For more on this, we cross to Naya Drofwak. Naya?
Fearful fiery foxes reflect Samson's fiery temper. Behind me you can see the devastation Samson has created after being denied access to his wife by his father-in-law. He cruelly tied foxes in pairs by their tails and attached flaming torches as weapons of mass destruction. This is an image captured earlier of one of the barriers of evil unleashed on Palestine earlier today. Initial estimates indicate approximately 300 foxes were used in the barbaric act of war against the Philistine people, but with the firestorm raging, that figure is expected to rise. These fires continue to burn across the country as foxes run in fear. The government is fighting fire with fire, trying to halt the advance of the devastation with controlled burns. With Samson still not incarcerated, we fear we haven't seen the end of Samson's reign of rage yet. The Philistine government has not declared war on the people of Israel yet, but are demanding Samson be caught and handed over to face justice.
Anaya, what are the immediate to medium-term effects on the residents of these devastated areas? How will they fare?
Well, Avila, that's a really tough question. They're an impoverished people, and their food source for the next year has just been destroyed. After years of unreliable harvest, they have few reserves and cannot afford to buy in what they need to survive. Unless there is some rapid and substantial intervention on their behalf, the future looks very bleak indeed. Niagara for Segduj News.
Has Samson made an ass of the Philistine army again? For more on this we cross to Murloc Reaper, who is on the scene. Murloc?
Behind me is the death and destruction left after Judge Samson wildly lost control while fleeing for his life from the Philistine army. After being bound with some new cords from the men of Judah, Samson began his desperate fight when they attempted to hand him over to the Philistine officials. The prisoner exchange ended in the deaths of over 1,000 fully armed Philistine soldiers. Samson's God-given strength and this donkey jawbone was all that was used to successfully evade capture. Samson, believed to be safe and well, would not comment on camera, but released a statement to the media earlier that he was acting in self-defense with strength from the Lord and not acting out of revenge for the death of his wife, as the Philistine government spokesman had suggested earlier. Authorities are processing the bodies and hope to have family members notified within the next few days. Malak Reaper, Segduj News.
Samson not only devastated their army, but the Philistine currency took a thrashing too. For more on the markets, here is Northgate.
That's right, Avila. We gained slightly on the pound and the Kiwi, dipping slightly against our southern neighbours. But the big news of the day, after Samson's escapade, is the complete collapse of the Philistine currency. Philistine's leaders are vowing to rebuild, and commentators are asking, with what? The back and forth left markets nervous, leaving the Philistine government no choice but to halt trading on the Philly after traders tried dumping the doomed currency. And in the shares markets we monitor, the ISREX 100 was up 21, EGX 50 down 12, and fueled by the currency crash, the PHLX 10 lost 16 points in heavy trading. That's 35% off what are already widely considered junk bonds.
After the break, Kazai is here with sport. Kazai, is Samson upsetting the match officials again?
He certainly is, Deb. But so long the records keep getting smashed, the money will keep coming in.
Jerusalem's cheaper Tuesday is here. Go 5.90 and 11 fed with toppings. Go 5.90 and 11 fed with toppings. Jerusalem's cheaper Tuesday is here. Amazing.
Wonderful.
Not available Sundays.
800 and 11 bread with toppings.
The Black Doors squad climbed the World Cup yesterday in the Gate Summit Championship. Black Doors captain Samson smashed all records by opening the city gates of Gaza and carrying them single-handed to the hill facing Hebron. Black Doors coach is playing down rumours that it is not an official time because Samson started the event in the middle of the night. Timing officials are checking replay footage to verify the time to determine the record's validity. The date for the first professional gladiator games were announced today. The sport, which originates from stories of seagoing merchants to the west, pits muscle against brawn and ego against pride in a fight to the death using some of the latest fighting technology available. The games, subject to council consent, will start in the summer of 1402 BC. Segduj Sport has successfully contracted the rights to the series, which is expected to have over 1 million viewers across all 12 tribes. That's all for sport. Back to you, Neb and Avila.
The results in for our viewer poll with a staggering 183 million replies. The question we asked was, should Samson have been the judge to kill King Eglon? 88% of you thought Samson would have been the better man for the job, while only 24% disagreed. The money raised from tonight's poll will go towards buying lighter shields for our men on the battlefield.
Tomorrow's weather looking good for battle cleanup, Northgate?
Certainly, isn't it? This blistering heat around Mount Tabor really put the men under pressure, with watercarts struggling to keep up with the demand from exhausted soldiers. Tomorrow we can expect to see some of this cloud cover to move northwest and really ease the situation for the final battle cleanup. But the real buzz is the small font making its way over the unexplored eastern territories, which should edge its way over Jerusalem by midday. It contains little rain to help with those foxfires, but those 300 brave soldiers with Gideon to the south will really be relieved, as it's expected to keep tomorrow's highs to less than 25 degrees. Over here, it's looking clear out to sea, with a west wind which could see our merchant ships arriving one day earlier than expected. That's all for me. Back to you, Neb and Avalo.
Battle commanders will be happy to hear that, Northgate. Thank you.
That's your news hour. I'm Ava Lorinov.
And I'm Neb Semash. Thanks for watching Segduj News. Good night.
Good night.